I know editing is one of the things that challenge some photographers, but if you use Lightroom like me, I can show you some of what I do in my editing process, but it's also incredibly powerful. And that's exactly what we're going to tackle here today. I'm going to share with you 12 Lightroom hacks that can revolutionize your editing process, save you lots of time, and unleash your creative flair. We've all been there, staring at a photograph, trying to get it to look just right, but somehow it's just not happening. You spend hours and hours tweaking and adjusting in Lightroom, but the more you tweak, the more it seems to look like an absolute mess. So here are some of the Lightroom hacks I use for my nature photography. It makes the entire process easier, faster, and more enjoyable. And remember, this is my process, and many other photographers have different ways to edit, but this is what I do. So take what you need from this and adapt it to how you work. So here we have the tone curve, and as you can see, the default is linear, which is just a straight line. And you have the two presets. One is a medium contrast and one is a strong contrast, which is quite dramatic, but you don't have much control. The other option you have, you can eyeball it and just grab it yourself, or you can grab this little tool up here. And so if I drag down, it will make the part of the sky darker, but if I drag up, it will make it a bit lighter. So we might just leave that there. Then I can pick another area, perhaps down here, and we can drag it down a little bit. That's a different part of the image. So that's your tone curve, a really, really handy tool, and it's a great way to add contrast without doing it all over your photo. So now we're in the library panel, and hack number 2 is the art of batch editing. So batch editing allows you to edit multiple photos at once, which means you can process entire albums in a fraction of the time, make changes to one photo and automatically apply them to others in a selected group. And there are a couple of different ways to do this. If you see this photo in the middle, that's the edits we want, and we want to apply them to these other 3 photos. So we hold down Command, click on the photos that you want to add the edits to. Then when you're in the library panel, you go Sync Settings, and that will bring up the Synchronize Settings box. You can check everything, some of them or none of them. Masking never gets selected by default. If I've done a mask, I like to add that in, and then pushing the Synchronize button. They've all got the same edits now on those photos. The other way to do it is to get our original photo. Whether we're in the library model or the develop model, we can either shift and select a row of photos and then click the sync button in the develop module, and you've got the same options. All these photos down here have now got the same edit, and that's your sync or your batch editing process. So the next hack is hack number 3, which is the magic of the graduated filter, and this allows you to make really selective adjustments to your photos, which means you can darken skies, lighten landscapes, and add depths to your images. But there's a really quick and easy hack in Lightroom, and that is simply by using one single keyboard stroke, which is the letter M. So if we click on that, it immediately brings up the mask panel and automatically puts it into a linear gradient. So in this shot, I think the sky is far too dark, so we're going to lighten that up, and if you push it again, it'll give you another graduated filter straight away. Push it again, and we'll do one over this side, just darken that down a bit. So a very handy tool. So we can go back into it, click M again, and the masks that we did a minute ago come up. So if we click back on this one and drag it down a bit, now I will make it darker, so your eye's drawn more to the center. We can click on each one of these buttons here and again make them a bit darker. And there's one more over here. Very easy when you've just got a simple keyboard stroke. So hack number 4 is the adjustment brush, and this allows you to make pinpoint adjustments or accurate adjustments to your photo. The quick key for that is the letter K. So if we push the letter K, you'll see my brush up here. It's straight away gone into the mask panel. It's already given me a circular radial adjustment brush. So you can use your left or right bracket keys to change that. So what we'll do here is we'll darken the exposure down a bit, darken the sky up a bit here, down in this corner we'll just darken off a bit. The other thing you can do is if we then do another one, so if you push K again, it gives me a new mask. Bring the brush size down, which is the left bracket key, and this time we'll go to lightening something, and we'll just do a couple of sweeps within these shadows at the background just to bring out the light that's going through there. Now you can see I've gone through the camels, so what we can do there is come up here to the little box which has got the mask, and we click on minus and go objects, brush. We can just click here. You can see the mask, see the little black bit in the middle up here, that's removed them, and when I hover over you can see that that's now been removed. Powerful nature of that tool. That's the adjustment brush. Remember, it is the letter K. Hack number 5 is the spot healing brush, where Lightroom has a great hack to easily identify dust spots and other imperfections. Under the remove tool in the mask panel, you can reach this instantly by hitting the Q key, and this works in either the grid panel or library panel and the develop mode. So if I just push the Q while we're in the library, that brings us straight into the develop module and straight into the mask and straight into the little band-aids highlighted. Now you can see this little box here is ticked visualize spots. I'd previously ticked that. So if we untick it, there's your image, and if we tick it, actually shows you all the dots, and you can change the scale. You can make it more or less, bring it right down, but it shows you exactly where those dust spots are and also any other things that are in your image. The white dot right in the middle here is actually the moon, but what we can do is just get rid of some of these. There's the image. If I push the Q now, it'll come up straight away like that because it's already ticked. Close it again. If I push the Q again, it comes up, but the mask isn't done, so I leave it ticked all the time, and then it's already set to go with just one simple keystroke, which is a Q. So hack number 6 is the power of the color mixer tool, and the color mixer tool allows you to change color to suit the image or focus on a certain look that can elevate your photos to the next level, but it actually focuses on each particular color. I'll just do a quick basic edit of this to bring up some exposure. So that's all I'm touching on this photo at the moment. Dash of white and a little bit of the blacks. Right, so we'll go into the color mixer, and I like to start off with the saturation because that gives me the strength of the individual colors. If I grab the blue one, you can see if I up it, it's very unrealistic, and I can take it down if it's too vibrant. So you might just take it down a tab. If you click each one and slide it backwards and forwards, it'll show you how much of each of that color is in your scene. You can see as I bring the yellow up, you can see that thin strip of light in the background increasing. And then if we try the orange, that should bring color up to the forefront. Then I go into the luminance tab. Luminance over to the right, you can see it fades out that blue saturation. And again, if I take it down, it goes darker, but it's not that bright saturated blue. It's just still the same color. In the orange one, just bring that up a little bit, give it a little bit of luminance, and the same with the yellow. So that's the magic of your color mixer tool. By the way, if you've enjoyed this video and learned something, please give it a like so others can benefit too, like you. Hack number 7 is the power of presets. Presets are essentially pre-made edits that you can apply to your photos with just one click. They can save you hours of time, and they give your photos a consistent look or feel. Here we are in the develop model, so if we just go over here, and you'll see the presets come up automatically. I've got a couple here. If I just hover my mouse over them, you'll see the changes to the image. If I just click on one, there's the preset. If I wanted to apply it to this photo next to it, I just select it, synchronize everything, and that preset would be applied to the same photo. And that's your power of presets. Hack number 8 is the precision of the lens correction tool. This allows you to correct distortions caused by lenses and chromatic aberrations or fringing that you sometimes see where you have a dark area adjoining a very light area. We just go straight into the lens correction tool, and you'll have to watch closely because sometimes you don't see a big difference. So we'll do the chromatic aberration first, and you won't see anything there unless you zoom right in and you do have some fringing, but I always like to tick it in case there's some there that I haven't seen. And the next one is enable the profile corrections. You can see this was my Canon 16-35, so if I turn that on and off, you'll see it's actually correcting some of the distortion that was in this photo. Hack number 9 is the grayscale button, which you can reach by pressing the letter V. This converts your photos to a grayscale. It's really good sometimes with photos that have too much color. It also works with really simple shots like this, and then you can go in and alter your develop settings to create a different look. We can also take the exposure down a bit. So that's hack number 9, the grayscale button. So hack number 10 is the export panel, and this allows you to export your photos in just a few clicks, which means you can share your work in no time. But the important thing is which means you can share your work in different platforms, either social media or going to a printer. Go to export, and first of all you can export to your desktop. You can put a folder, put a subfolder, which I'll do old buildings, and then you can rename it, and next minute you've got your file format. So this is JPEG quality, I've got it 100, and the image sizing, this is low, so I've got it to 170. If I was going to print this, I'd have it at 240, and then you can have all the metadata, and then watermark Lightroom presets already set up, and then we just click export, and that's it. Number 11 is create quick collections, which assembles a temporary group of photos to work with in any module. You can select one or more photos either in the film strip or the grid view, press the letter B, which will add the image or images to a quick collection. So if we just click, we'll add these just to a quick collection. Select B, add to quick collection. So if you go back up here, you'll see my quick collection. And if I click on that, you'll see those photos have been added to my quick collection. Finally, number 12. This is the new blur feature in Lightroom, and if you want to add bokeh, which means blur, to any part of your image, this tool makes that process really easy. Click the Blends Blur tab down the bottom here, then you click apply, and it'll analyze your photo and put blur where it thinks you might want it, and it'll add a soft out of focus background. You can then add this slider here. So if I just grab the whole slider, you can see it's going more blur and less blur. It depends where you want your blur. So if we click this little box here, which is visualize depth, it'll give you an idea of where the blur is. So as I move this down, you can see the area changes. So I just want it on the camels, so I'm going to leave it there, and you've got near and far. So if I grab this little handle here, I can actually bring the near button in, so the white bit's just focused on the camel. If we unclick that, you'll see now I've got blur behind the camels and I've got blur in front. So it's a good way to really get some focus on an image if you want it in a particular area. And you've also got a brush refinement and a whole lot of other tools within this tool. Very, very powerful. So that's my 12 Lightroom hacks that can transform your photo editing game forever. So they save you time, they unleash your creativity, and they can take your photos to the next level. So now that you've mastered these Lightroom game-changing secrets, there's one more that can catapult you to the next level. It's a real game changer for your photography, but it's a method that only a few landscape photographers are using, and it's gaining them some massive improvements in their photos every day, but almost no one is talking about it. So in this video, I'll break down that hidden strategy step by step so you can see massive improvement too. Click here or here, wherever it shows up to watch it